Hi there, marvelous mathematicians. I hope you're doing well. I hope since you've been back at school this January that you've been doing lots of reading and writing and math thinking. And our teachers and I are so proud of all the work that you've been doing. So we're going to continue along today with that kind of great thinking. So I know that right now we can't go to the public library, but think of a time when you were at the Roosevelt Library or maybe the Montana Branch Library or the Santa Monica Public Library. And you know how they have tables there for kids and you can look at books in the library at the tables before you check them out? That's what our problem is about today. So just to make a picture in your mind of the library in the children's section and the tables there. So let's pretend that there were some tables at the library. And if there were a certain number of friends at each table, do you think you could figure out how many friends are at the library? There's a picture here of a couple of friends at the Montana Branch Library sharing a book together. So I want you to really think about this problem, and maybe you might want to use some manipulatives to help you before you start solving it, or you might want to draw a picture because you have to do something a little bit different with the numbers, but I'm not going to tell you what. So let's take a deeper dive. So there might be 7 tables in the library and 5 friends at each table, or 34 tables at the library and 10 friends at each table, or 22 tables at the library with 5 friends at each table, or maybe there are 12 tables at the library with 10 friends at each table. Do you think that you can figure out how many friends there are? So remember, we have the first number in the number set goes in the pink space, and the second number in the number set goes in the yellow space. And we do that because we want to make sure that those numbers make sense. So they're in those positions for a reason. So I want you to take a moment right now to look at the number sets, and I want you to pick your just right number set. Okay, point to your number set. All right, now I want you to read the problem with me and plug your numbers in the pink and yellow spaces. Ready? Go. At the library, there are tables. If friends are sitting at each table, how many friends are at the library? Mathematicians, do you think you could show your thinking in 2 ways? Just an aside to parents, this problem is conceptual only, so we are not expecting an equation to go with it, just to see if the picture and the thinking match the idea of the problem. Now let's talk, mathematicians, before we start. What would be a reasonable number of friends in the library for your number set? Did anybody say around 10 or 15? No, that would not make sense. We have to go back and think about that, right? Anybody at like 4,000? Oh, no, that's totally unreasonable, right? But your process of thinking about what's reasonable and unreasonable as a number of friends sitting at the table really helps you keep making sense of the numbers. Because sometimes when mathematicians do work with numbers, we get lost in the procedure, and we never want to get lost in the procedure. We always want to be making sense of the number and the value and how it relates to the problem. So remember, you can use the virtual math manipulatives. I have them linked for you in Seesaw. They're also in the Google Classroom. If you would like to print out a template, you can print out a template of this problem from the DLP. You can solve it directly on Seesaw, or you can solve it in your notebook and take a picture of it and put it on Seesaw. The important things is, mathematicians, is that you solve it in 2 ways. That helps us with flexible thinking and accuracy. All right, I am so excited to see what you do. Off you go.